according to my point of view, I'm going to define the word a crisis situation, which is something same to an organization as well.
Where we will be disconnected from the meetings. And I mean, there were problems related to attendance. Have the online classes. We couldn't have the online classes. We missed some of the classes. Hello everyone and welcome back again with another insightful session of We Speak, conducted by the Announcing Division of Jpura Voice, the official media and broadcasting unit of the University of Sri Jyawardhanapura. Today we are going to discuss how the economic crisis has affected the life of an undergraduate in Sri Lanka. And for this discussion, I have two amazing personalities with me who are also undergraduates of University of Sri Jyawardhanapura. So we have Poornima Weerasinghe with us, who is one of the outfiners in our university from the Faculty of Management Studies and Commerce, who is also an excellent public speaker with outstanding academic records. And next we have Praveen Wickramasinghe, who is a fourth year undergraduate of our university and also the former divisional head of the English Announcing Division. Welcome you both to We Speak and thank you for joining with us today. To start off, I would like to ask you both, how is life treating you these days?
Well, so Tarushi, after 3 years' time, now come to the final year of my academic journey in the University of Sri Jyawardhanapura. I'm going through an internship at Cinnamon Hotels and Resorts, and at the same time conducting research on for my fourth year dissertation also. And still surviving in this situation.
I'm currently awaiting my final year results and conducting few classes for A-levels. So can you tell me, according to your point of view, how the lifestyle of an undergraduate has changed due to this economic crisis?
Well, so I would let me first start it off with defining who is an undergraduate, and at the same time what is a financial crisis, or whatever a crisis situation that you just said. Let me start it with a financial crisis. So what is a financial crisis? In simple terms, we can simply say that a person does not having enough resources financially to satisfy a person's basic needs. Very simple definition. There are so much of definitions out there, but for the ease of explanation only, I'm just telling this thing. So your existence, your continuity of life is questioned because of not having enough money to spend to satisfy your basic needs. I'm talking about the basic needs actually, like food, water, shelter. It's not like last year you celebrated your birthday at Cinnamon Hotels and this time you don't have enough money to celebrate it in that way. It's not like that, because still without celebrating your birthday you can still survive. But there are people and there are instances where your existence, your continuity of life is threatened. Like for example, during that fuel crisis period that we had, people died during the time they were looking for fuel. They died, which means their existence is questioned and their continuity of life is questioned. And there were periods where people did not have enough food, and gas is the main thing that we can say. So those are different moments where a person's existence is questioned. So according to my point of view, I'm going to define the word a crisis situation, which is something same to an organization as well. A crisis situation where you don't have enough resources to survive. So now, who is an undergraduate? In that case, we can define a person undergraduate as a person who seek information, who go through the existing stock of knowledge, number one, having a good knowledge, and then going to develop or reproduce the knowledge, recreate knowledge, increase the knowledge. So that is the person who you call an undergraduate. Somewhat totally different from the word student, right? One from grade 1 to 12, what we did was learning the existing knowledge. We had these textbooks and all the things, all the resources given by the government. What we had to do is just memorize the stuff and learn the stuff. Nothing to produce. It's just learning or reading and remembering what is there in the syllabus. But when you come to the undergraduate level in the university, you have to first know about what is there in the world and at the same time develop new things. So that is what you call an undergraduate. Then how it links to this financial crisis is when it comes to an undergraduate, he or she is a full-time learner. Without being paying for it, you have to learn. So that is what an undergraduate does. Full-time learner. For this 4 years time, you have to give your 100% priority to learn what is there in the world and recreate something and reproduce new knowledge. Now, during such a crisis situation like what you said, the financial or economic crisis situation that we are going through, can an undergraduate be that sort of a person? Is actually the question. Can the lifestyle of an undergraduate keep continuing in that particular way when your life is threatened because of not having money? Because you are not working means you are not earning money, right? You just have to keep on learning if you truly be an undergraduate. But during such a crisis situation where the people's life is threatened, where the people's continuity of life is questioned, you can't continuously be such sort of a person. So definitely a life of an undergraduate, the lifestyle of an undergraduate will definitely be changed. Now, if I take a personal example of my life, I am not supposed to go to an internship and start earning from now on. According to my degree program, I should start my internship from the next semester onwards. But I know if I continue my now the when you go to the corporate world, most of the positions and most of these jobs are freezed and they are not recruiting anymore, and it's difficult to find a job in the job market. So in that sort of a situation, I have to change my lifestyle from being that typical, that true undergraduate to a, I would say I can't call actually in that point of view. It's very it's not good to call myself as an undergraduate also, because yes, I'm seeking knowledge, but the time that I'm spending to recreate new knowledge and find new avenues is limited, because I'm now going through an internship also. I'm going to the corporate world. The time that I should spend inside the university to recreate new knowledge, go through the knowledge, is now I have made it limited because of what? Because of the financial crisis. So it is indeed tough thing. It is indeed something, the lifestyle of an undergraduate is totally questioned, and there is a difference which has to be addressed. Yes.
Little thing to what Praveen said. So, when we say an undergraduate, so all of us are coming from different backgrounds, right? So, I'm not from a family that is same to what Praveen is coming from. So it's the same with everyone else. But when we come into the university, we are all the same. Just like Praveen said, we are all seeking knowledge, right? So, I mean, this economic crisis can affect us in different ways because of our backgrounds. But as an undergraduate, the problems that we had to go through is somewhat similar, right? All of us had to join online classes. All of us had the fuel crisis. All of us had to stay in queues, and all of us had to go through the power cuts, right? So, I mean, I remember like we were just about to come into the university and we were so happy just after Corona, like, we were able to see our friends. We were so happy. But then with with this economic crisis, we had to stay back home again, and we had to join those online classes. And on top of all that, we had power cuts where we will be disconnected from the meetings. And I mean, there were problems related to attendance.
Have the online classes.
We couldn't have the online classes. We missed some of the classes, right? We may have missed assignments. So many problems happened. So when we take these undergraduates, we are the youth of this country. So apart from being an undergraduate, we are also at the age where we are discovering ourselves, right? It's a very turbulent time period that we are going through. We don't know what we want in life still. We are figuring that out. Just think, on top of all that, we have to, think about our basic needs also, right? I mean, we anyway think about it at some level, but then just imagine most of the things that were not uncertain before became uncertain for us now, right? Even buying a milk packet, rice, anything, all of those became uncertain for us, and we had to, in a way, become adults at an age that we did not expect to be adults, right? We are people who are still enjoying our youth, but because of this economic crisis,
I think mentally that affected a lot of us, not a lot of us, all of us actually, right? And also, I mean, we know situations like just like Praveen said, like he had to start his internship pretty early, and I know friends who were, the internship was for us to gain the practical knowledge and practical experience of what we learn in our classrooms. So our main focus is to get that practical knowledge, but during this time, when we join our internships, another problem that we had to think about was the salary, because we can't survive with a small allowance, right? I know a few friends who had to turn down some internships because of the salary, because they cannot make their ends meet because of them, because some of them were.
We have to focus on salary,
Yes,
not just the
not
reputation of the company.
not just the reputation of the company, and also our own practical experience. Not only that, right? Not only that, and most of the people who are coming into the university are coming from a very, from distance, right? There are people from Jaffna, Kandy, from all of the places. And these people, most of them are living in their bodies, and they had to make their ends meet most of the time by themselves, with minimal support from their parents, right? So because of this, not only the practical experience, they had to think about the salary that they had to obtain. So I think this is a pretty pathetic situation that as an undergraduate, what we had to go through.
Yes, actually, a very little thing to add. Like what Poornima said, actually, internship means it's not about salary at all. You have to be ready to work sometimes without a salary also to get that exposure. But now the thing is, the first question that most of my friends also ask is how much they are going to pay you. It's not the experience that you are getting, the exposure, number of people that you are going to meet. No, it's just the salary that you are getting. If they are going to give you a high salary without giving you a good exposure, it's sometimes just to do the photocopy things done sometimes. Even for such sort of clerical jobs also, some organizations get interns because the amount that they have to pay is very low. According to the law also, you don't have to pay a lot. We are not call it salary, actually it's an allowance we call. It's just an allowance to survive. It's not like a salary also. So the organizations try to get us to do such sort of clerical jobs also, and our people are ready to go for it because of that simple high allowance, comparatively high allowance that those sort of organizations are giving, which is very pathetic and bad situation for an undergraduate. Like all of these people are being an undergraduate of Jawaharlal University, a public university, is a huge thing. And but even after being such sort of a person, if you have to go to such sort of a place just to do such clerical stuff, it's a very pathetic and bad thing, not for a person but for that person's career also. Because what we are developing is what you call a career. When you, after finishing an undergraduate thing or after getting a professional qualification or whatever, what you are developing is a career. And this is the foundation. Internship is the foundation of your career. And to build such sort of a huge building, you should have a strong foundation, which is your internship. And it is now going to be a mess because of the financial crisis and because of the people only considering about the salary, and they have no option. They have to consider it about it because of the financial crisis. So yes, as Poornima said, it's such a pathetic situation.
So I would like to ask you, how has this economic crisis affected the cost of living for an undergraduate in Sri Lanka?
Well, so for an undergraduate, everything is a cost. Now, just say, as I said before, now undergraduate, whoever the person is, person should be able to satisfy their basic needs, right? Food, water, shelter, and so on and so forth stuff. Now, who is an undergraduate here? Now, in our university or whatever the university is, there are people who are coming from different areas. Not only the people who are in Jayawardhanapura area coming to Jayawardhanapura University, even the people from northern province to south to from whatever the province is, they come to this particular city, and then the place they live is a problem, right? That has to be solved. That means either they have to come to the hostel or they should take a whatever the hostel room facility to stay for this whole period of time. Let's say for one semester, or simply for the whole 4 years time, they should stay somewhere, right? Which is a basic need. They can't just sleep on the street. They should find a place to stay. And food. Now they can't get their parents' support. Now their amma or apachi cannot come and prepare their meals. They have to either buy it or prepare by themselves, which is I'm talking about the majority actually. There are such minority of people who are coming from their home, getting all the supports, and I am also a person who is like, I had that freedom because my parents are there. I'm coming from my home. They just prepare everything. What I'm doing is just getting what they made and coming to the university. But it's not the case for the majority. They are coming from different backgrounds, different financial difficulties that they face, and in some sort of a situation, satisfying all those things is simply a cost. And now, with the inflation and all, I think it's not a question. Definitely, it has been increased. I think the researchers say that it's like a 300% increase. Everything has been increased by three times more. So if you go to even in our university also, there is an extent that you can give it at a welfare price, but still it has been increased. Or the quality decrease. If you can't increase the price, simple business stuff, you have to either decrease the quality. But to what extent we can do that, right? Increasing the price or decreasing the quality or whatever it is, simply it will affect to the quality of education plus quality of an undergraduate. Where sometimes I personally have friends. Normally, when you are going through that sort of a tough time, people don't like to say that also, right? But I have a friend who was like starving for 2 days, just surviving with a cup of tea during the exam period. Just one cup of tea and a very small snack, let's say. And that is how that person saved his, I think, 6,000 rupees for the whole month. The exam, when the exam starts, it goes for like 2, 3 weeks. So for that whole time, he had only 6,000 rupees, 6,000 or even less amount. So he had to survive with that particular amount, paying for the boarding houses and food and everything. So that is the life that an undergraduate is going through right now, I would say. I'm talking about the majority. I'm telling it again because at the same time, it's like two extremes. There are some set of people who are enjoying their life to the fullest, still have enough money. They don't face that crisis because what I said, according to me, crisis is a situation where you don't have money to satisfy your basic needs. So there are set of people who have money to satisfy their basic needs, but majority of the people, they don't have it because they are not earning. They are undergraduates, and even though they start earning, it will be an internship which will be paid just an allowance, as we said before, which is a very less amount. So cost of living has been increased, and there are no jobs in the job market. So the amount that you are getting is also low, even though you join for an internship or whatsoever. Uh, so it's very a difficult time period that an undergraduate is going through. Cost of living affect them a lot, and just think about that. Like when you don't have enough money to eat or stay in a proper place, what sort of a mental condition that a person is going through. Here, you are not just getting the knowledge, learning, and recreating. Load of cognitive knowledge is needed. You are wasting your mind. It's not like you are wasting your body. You can just simply do a work by using your strength, but mental strength and your mental stability is very much needed when it comes to an undergraduate, because
That means this economic crisis is affecting the potential of an
potential of an
undergraduate.
undergraduate, the potential will be completely changed. And that's why I said that calling us as undergraduates is also a question, because it is that sort of a hard thing, and that sort of a period actually that we are going through with this cost of living and with this financial situation when it comes to an undergraduate.
I think even the undergraduate experience is changing now because of the
Yes.
crisis. Because I know, like in our final year, when we had to submit our thesis, the dissertation, like some of the departments want their dissertation as a hard copy, right?
Yeah.
So there were some students who could not do this because the paper price is very high now, and the hard binding is it's very costly now, right? So not only that, even when we think about the clubs and societies in the universities, we have to organize all these events, right? I mean, I can remember when we were in our first year, it was really fun, right? Going to pen sales, and after at the end of it all, the final event, we had so much fun. But now, when we are organizing an event, how many of things should we think about? The food, and the sounds, lighting, everything is very costly now. Those kinds of costs cannot be borne by an undergraduate now. I mean, at, and in the past, when events are being organized like this, the university helps students to organize these, right? Because one of the aims is to build up like an all-round personality in an undergraduate. But the university also can't afford to help undergraduates in organizing this, and the undergraduates also cannot bear these costs.
And those
Earlier,
days actually we had so much of corporates willing to sponsor to our
yes,
organizations
exactly.
also.
Now they are also rethinking those. They are
Yeah, because
they are
they
taking
are
step by step.
also facing difficulties themselves.
Yes. So it's really hard as an undergraduate to develop their personal skills and to have a great, like a good undergraduate experience during this time. So yeah, I mean, it's actually very pathetic.
Have there been any changes in the academic performance of undergraduates due to this economic crisis?
Yes, so undergraduate means it's not about, as I said before also, it's not about just memorizing something and writing it on the paper and getting a good mark. You have to develop your soft skills. You have to develop your personality. You have to identify your life purpose. You have to know what will be my future is and how I'm going to develop my future. Everything should be determined during this 4 years time. But now, with the financial crisis which came with COVID-19 also, from 2019 itself, this whole education system came to a halt. I say came to a halt because I know, like, from even it's just 6 months time that the government failed to continue the education. They started. The government was very efficient and effective in that side because they were able to start online education and somehow keep this continuity of education. But that is the side effect, I will say. They fail to find out proper methods of developing the whole package of an undergraduate. You got online learning, and after that online exams were also there, and after that again online learning came, and with physical exams came. And it's so we also put ourselves to that particular box where we only focus on our academic, because that's the number one thing. By just studying and facing to the exam, you can get a first class degree without knowing even about the corporate world or developing your soft skills, because that soft skill thing is not measured by the exams, most probably. So for a great extent, I would say, because now in presentations and we have viva and so and so forth stuff, but the extent to which it is evaluated is very low. Your personality, your skills. So in that case, most of the undergraduates lost their opportunities to develop all these things. Just as Poornima said, from 2019, I think, to 2020, 2021, we really couldn't able to host a physical event in the university. Everything went online, which means you stay at home and do all the things. So it was that sort of a period, and at the same time, lectures went online, and developing yourself is something that was not happen. And most importantly, that I think normally the semester went for like 6 months, and now they compressed it, and they are going to do it within 3 months time. That means if we start it today, from 1.5 months time it will be the mid examination, and after that the end semester examination within this 3 months time. So you have to get prepared for a whole lot of get knowledge and be prepared for an exam within 3 months time. So from one side, you don't have the time to develop your other skills. That is one thing. And the problem that happens is, once you go to the corporate world, when you start practically applying that knowledge you gained in the university, you start realizing upon that, what the hell I'm doing. I don't have that thing. I know what it is. I know the basics of this theory, but when it comes to the practical aspect, I don't know how to do that thing. And they will question, because when it comes to the corporate industry, the big people out there, the bosses, they know the potential of the undergraduates, and they compare ourselves with those early people, right? So they expect us to be those sort of people, but we are not that people. We are coming from a background who did online exams, who did whole online learning stuff, and our knowledge is very very low when compared to a person who learned it in the university for a period of time. And at the same time, those days, when getting knowledge, the library is there, and we went here and there, and we did interviews with our lecturers, and we had that one-to-one communication. So we had that opportunity to meet them physically and get the knowledge. But now the technology is developed within a split second. We can get whatever the knowledge we need. Simply we are having that time pressure, and at the same time the mental pressure, and we don't even take a little bit of time to think what is there that we are getting from the internet also. We just take it, copy paste it, finish the assignment, get marks, and face to the exam, get good grades, and we think, okay, we are done. We are done with our thing, and we are good undergraduates, and after that we'll be good graduates. But that's not the case. When it comes to being a complete undergraduate, be a complete graduate, apart from the academic knowledge, academic qualifications that you are getting, there are so much of things that you should develop. This is the only place where you can get all those things. But with this online world, we can't get that thing. And and you have to develop those things once you go to the corporate world, which is again a problem. In the corporate world, you have to display your skills. You can't develop yourselves. If you try to develop yourselves in the corporate world, they will simply ask you to step back, or they will simply send you home, because they want that excellent spirit. So yes, I think I answered your question. That's that.
When Praveen said about the corporate world, now during the internship, right? Internship is another chance for us to develop our soft skills, right? Because at that stage, they had the idea that we are an undergraduate and we are here to learn something, right? But we had to work from home almost like for a majority of the period during our internships. So I remember when during my internship, I didn't get to meet a lot of people because I was home. Like I was talking with them through the phone, and there were these few days that I went to the office, and during those times only I see them, right, in person. Some of the people I didn't see until maybe the last month of my internship. So it's like I think we lost the human touch of education because of this economic crisis, because we had to stay home, it was online, everything was online, right? And that practical experience that you would have gained, the exposure you would have gained by going into the office premises and meeting people, connecting with them, right? I think just like Praveen said, we would have developed something, but I don't think we developed that exact thing that we had to develop by being an undergraduate.
Yes.
Right? And I also remember during our presentation, so before when we had to do a presentation, but we had to overcome was that nervousness, right? That the sweats and all that. But now, during this economic crisis, when there was a power cuts and all that, apart from that jitters that you had to get over, you also had to think about, will the power go off? What will happen? Will our time, when the power goes off and we are trying to resolve it, will our time be, will our time end for our presentations? Will the lecturer scold us if we couldn't do this properly, right? But then I think our lecturers were very understanding in that sense, because they actually gave us the time, and they accommodated those problems that we had during this time. But as an undergraduate, there were the normal set of emotions that we had to go through. But I think apart from that, we had many more other, I think, in a way we can say unnecessary problems that we had to think about because of this crisis. And performance of a student, the stress that they had to go through is immense because of this. And because of that stress, I mean, the performance of students would have come down a lot. And there were people who came through out of it. There were people, but then there were people who struggled as well. We had to empathize with them as well during this time.
Looking at this economic crisis from a new angle, are there any opportunities that you identified? Any good side of this economic crisis?
Yes, so far we talked so much of negative stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's good to go for a change and talk about the positive side as well. Yes, just as you said, even though the whole picture shows a very negative thing, if you look at it in a kind of a positive angle, you still can find out opportunities. Even though there are so much of threats and weaknesses, you still can find out strengths and opportunities even in any sort of a situation. So here also, I believe, when it comes to humankind, we always try to find out a solution when your life is threatened. Actually, even the past researchers also say when you are facing to a threat, then only you try to overcome it. And this is a moment where your life was threatened by this financial crisis and all, and your continuity, your lifestyle has been changed. And so this is the point where the people started coming together, come to a conclusion where we have to change. Even changing from this physical world to an online world is a huge thing. The future is wholly depending on this technological evolution. Sometimes, even though we like to have that physical touch, now the whole world is going with this online world. We sometimes we have to, not sometimes actually, right now also, obviously, we have to work for foreign companies staying in Sri Lanka, which is a very new thing to sometimes to Sri Lanka, but a very normal thing in other countries, like business process outsourcing, and so much of things are there where they work for other companies in other countries. So to get that thing now, for me, I think during my first years, it is something magic. How can I do that? How can I do the operations without going to their workplace? Which is a huge thing. But now, with this digital thing that we went through, we encounter with that particular online touch, and with that thing now, it is not a big deal, right? Now we are ready to go for it. We are not that scared of going into digital world, learning about digital things out. Like as we said, we went through a period where we didn't have enough stationery items to do our work, so we found it as a threat, and what we did was we simply changed, not simply, after giving a huge lot of effort, we somehow changed to this digital thing also now. And that is that is how the world works right now also. Now the world is so much digital, we are not using so much of paper, pen and stuff. So we converted. If you look at this crisis and whole bad thing in another perspective, obviously we can find some sort of a positive thing as well, like you said, an opportunity. And also, like even in the corporate world also, and even in our life also, sometimes we can say that we found a way to somehow survive also. It is a positive thing that we can see. It's another way that we can see about this world also. Whatever comes and goes from our life, our mental stability has been increased, I would say, because we were not living in bed of roses anymore. We are not living in a fantasy world where you get everything what you want. You are not living in that world. You have come down to the earth, and you know what is happening on earth now. You know about what is happening in the world, what has happened to me, what will happen to me in future. So what I should do now, everything. Now we are well aware about us. I think as youth, we have become more matured than our fathers, because we know about lot of things. We have gone through a lot of things. We have experienced lot of things, and because of that reason, we have become more matured. So that is kind of a good thing that we can find out with this whole financial crisis and everything. And what I want to emphasize also, to look at, even though we are going through a very bad time, I want to for my fellow undergraduates and for the people who are looking this video also, what I want to say is, no matter what sort of a bad thing that we are going through or that we have gone through, we should come out of it. We can't say you can let go all the, we don't know, it depends, right? It's a wholly a subjective thing. You might have gone through a lot, but future is still there, which can be changed. Future is something which, future is not fixed. Now history is all gone, it's done, but future is still there. It depends on what you are doing right now. Sometimes even the right now also, you might going through the flames of the hell, it depends. But again, you should try to find out what sort of a thing that I should develop in myself in future, and you should work for it. You can't just, like in my case also, I can't just let go of myself, because I simply have to live, right? And every one of us have to live, no matter what sort of thing that we are going through or we have gone through. So we have to develop ourselves, we have to stay positive, which is very difficult thing. It's not easy. It's easy to say than done, but we have to go through, right? We have to go through the period that we're going through, and we have to come out of it. And it is something very much needed to do. So yes, every bad thing has some sort of a good thing if you look at it in a different angle. So you have to look it in that way and find that good opportunity, and simply should live a better life with the intention and dreaming about that future person of yours.
To add to what Praveen said, I think when we think about the opportunities, this economic crisis was kind of an eye opener for us as the youth of the country, because we started to, everyone started to talk about the economic policies that are already there, and whatever the new policies that are being coming, and whatever these proposals that are being brought up in the country, right? So people were more aware about this, and I think as the youth, we have to be more aware about these things, and this was a start for us to, be aware and wake up to the realities of what we are living in right now. And also another thing is, I mean, this is a very hard time for us, but I think this is the time that we have to, be more human to each other. We have to help each other, right? This is the time where we should, like, whatever I have, if I can give it to someone else who doesn't have the same things, that is, I think, this is the time to do all those things. So just like, I mean, just like the negative things that are there, we also have to think about the positive, I mean, the positive side of this. And one such side is, I mean, we have to help each other out, and you know uh, develop more connections with each other. And like Praveen said earlier, there are two extremes, who are experiencing this crisis, right? So there was one extreme who wouldn't have felt it as much, and there was a side who would have completely gone down with it. But we can help those people, right? And we can help them to look at the positive side, or we can be something positive for them, right? So this is the time where we have to be more human and help each other out, and also be more mindful about what is happening, and think rationally to ourselves. Uh, so yes,
This is
yeah.
the time to awake the human within you and
Yes,
help
exactly,
everyone.
exactly. Not be a machine.
Yes.
In this digital world, be a human.
Yeah, so I also believe the fact that we as undergraduates should be brave enough to get whatever the good things out of a tough situation. We have reached the end of this discussion, and yeah, this economic crisis has surely made a significant impact to the life of an undergraduate, right? And also, as we discussed earlier, there are some positive things too in this situation. So I would like to thank you both for joining with this discussion today, and I wish you both best of luck for the future endeavors.
Thank you very much for inviting us.